Hello and welcome to this video of Masteroid, a small indie game that I found by chance on YouTube. I would credit the YouTuber if I remembered the name of him, but I simply don't. Anyway, it's not sold on Steam, it's only sold through the developer's webpage. And I bought it because it got like a beautiful art style. I'm really big fan of that kind of old style art. Like you can see here, I just loaded it to my save. It's kind of a mixture of 3D depth and 2D pixel graphics, which I think is really nice. Now the game's premises I can read from the webpage. Let's see if I saved it up somewhere. Here we go. Let's see. It says you warp into a busy galaxy with nothing but your quests and a tiny ship. Explore sectors and mine asteroids, take on faction missions, sell resources, upgrade your loadout, attack other ships, steal the resources, etc. Right? And that's pretty much what the game is. Like, the premises of the game is exactly that. You got a few different hubs, you got a few different locations, 6 in total that you can go between. Every sector is, or each sector is actually not that big. It's the hub in the middle, and then there's like an asteroid field around it, with small ships in. So you start out in a really tiny ship, like even tinier than that one. I don't know if I can find one of those super tiny ships, but anyway, what you do is you start mining resources, and you use those resources, you sell them to gain reputation with your faction, which unlock bigger ships and also gives you money, and you unlock missions as well. Those missions you can complete for money. The missions are pretty much, I'm gonna load in here and see if I can show them. There we go. So missions, you have different type of missions. You got assassination mission, which is simply warp to a sector, in this case the Fire Nebula. Find a ship that is marked for assassination and kill it. You get ore question, which is simply mine ore for a faction. So you go out, destroy asteroids, mine it, take it back to the main hub in the sector and sell it. You got enemy bounty. There's 2 factions in the game, and you go to the other faction and you kill off a certain number of ships. So in this case, for example, we have to warp to the Fire Nebula and kill off 9 other kind ship, which is the other faction, right? And transport needed, and that is simply just you accept the mission. So this is Heart of Light, right? You accept the missions, you undock, and you warp to is the Heart of Light. Let's see, there we're warping in. You go to the main hub. You always have like this little yellow marker to show you which way the hub is. And you actually dock there and you're done with the mission. Let's see if we can dock here. It's really beautiful graphics. Let's see, there we go. We can sell cargo and repair ship here. And undock, and I completed the mission and got gold for it, right? Now, there's a few problems with this game, I think. Right now, it's, first of all, there's only like 6 sectors, and they are kind of small, 2 factions. And so the game is not very big. As soon as you discover the transport missions, since they're really quick to earn a lot of gold, simply you warp between the factions. You kind of level up to the biggest ship. This is the biggest ship. In maybe 2 hours, you get all the weapons. And once you got that, there's not much to do, right? You can just do more of the same. Fight the ships, kill some asteroids, take on missions, but there's no real incentive to do so. It doesn't really change the game. So content-wise, there's kind of a lot lacking right now. Also, I don't really agree with the controls. I guess it's a matter of preference as well, but simply in this game you control, like you go to the left by clicking the A key, you move to the right by clicking the D key, or you move upwards by clicking the W, or downward by clicking the S. You can also move diagonally by holding both, for in this case A and W at the same time, right? I much more like where you turn left and right with the A and D key depending on the direction of the ship. So for example here you would move downwards, still just pressing the A key, right, to turn downwards. Right now if I press the A key, I can continue this direction. Also, and the reason I like that type of movement in this type of games a lot more is right now you shoot in the direction of wherever your mouse points, right? And I don't really like that. I think it's a lot better if you always shoot straight ahead and have to maneuver your ship into the direction of the enemy ship, because I think combat gets a lot more rewarding if you do that. Because right now combat, pretty much I'm probably not gonna win that fight, but let's fight this guy, right? They're probably gonna attack me, but if I attack him here, it doesn't really matter where I go, right? I can always aim it. So it simply comes down to... It's kind of weird it didn't turn on me. Anyway, it kind of just comes down to who has the most armor and weapons who wins the fight. Since you can't really outmaneuver the enemy. Since regardless of where I go, I can just aim towards the enemy wherever he might be, right? So having a different way of controlling your aircraft and always shooting straight forward would make the combat, I think, more demanding and therefore a bit more rewarding as well. The game in its current state is $7 plus if you live in the European Union like I do, plus that, which comes down to €9. And here's the big problem I think with the game, that for €9 you can get a lot of really good indie games. I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee. So like, if you want to buy the game right now, if it's not just for enjoying the beautiful art, I would say it's not really worth it. Well, of course you might want to, it's a one guy team that develops this game, so you might simply want to support the developer, but like the gameplay you get from that money doesn't really make it worth it. There's some small things you can do as well, apart from accepting missions and upgrading ship. You can also slot in different weapons. I show it here, so you can buy different weapons, and then you got slots on your ship where you can equip different weapons. It's not that more expensive is always better, but they got some different properties as well, but in general, like, more expensive is do more damage, right? But you reach like a fully upgraded ship with all the weapons you want pretty fast, especially if you do the transport missions. So you kind of run out of things to do quite quickly. So I would say like, yeah, 1.5 to 2 hours and you're done with the game. But it's got some interesting premises. It's got a really beautiful art style. So check out the developer's webpage. Maybe if he adds more content in the future, it might be worth the price, or it might come to Steam as well. I think that's it. I still wanted to show it off, mostly because I really love how he made the graphics look. Cheers, hope you enjoyed the video. And let's shut this one down as well. Alright, bye.